Greetings one and all, this is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Today's talk focuses on two things. First, we're looking at something called the time value of money, which has to do with how Tesla gets to profitability over time. The second thing we're looking at is Elon Musk likes to compare, there's a company called Toyota. Toyota is considered the best firm in the world when it comes to manufacturing quality automobiles. So basically, Elon likes to benchmark against them and look at their systems to see whether or not or how performance is for Tesla relative to the best in the world. I wanted to note to you guys that I'm actually in a place called Alexandria, Virginia, and we're right next to what's called the Wilson Bridge. And it's a little bit noisy here because we have traffic rolling by at high speeds above us, so I'm speaking loudly and leaning towards the camera a little bit, so I apologize for the challenge, but we'll show you more of the view at the end. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Thanks once again for joining us. If this is your first time on the channel, please take time to like and subscribe. If you're a repeat visitor, welcome back. We'd also appreciate any support you could provide by watching a couple of ads that show up, as well as, possibly joining us on Patreon would also be helpful. I'm kind of in a battle here between the noise level and the framing of my image. So my friends that are on live, please share. If you can't hear me, I'll speak up. But I did like the location, even though it is a little noisy. So right now, Tesla is in sort of a battle for life or death. What's happening is that the stock price is at a good level, but not a great level, because there's a real challenge there where, and by the way, I wanted to note, all of your comments you guys share, I can see them, and I'll respond at the end. Many of our viewers ask that I not interrupt what I'm saying because it messes up the flow of the show. So what I wanted to cover today is that I had an encounter where in my last show, I went to the local service center in a place called Tyson's Corner, Virginia. While there, there were trucks that were going out to do minor repairs in theory that didn't need the vehicle to come in for vehicles in the greater Washington, D.C. area. What was also shared was that Tesla would soon be offering a Model S that allows them to drive within condos, buildings, and do repairs on vehicles as well. Now, this is sort of gets into what our subject is for today, and looking why Elon Musk made a point about the fact that he really feels that him not being in the factory could actually be beneficial to the firm. And I really understand what he means now, because Elon is really fond of coming up with really good ideas that make a lot of sense and then putting them in motion. But the problem is many of those ideas end up violating business principles which were established as failures for a very long period of time. And today's show on the time value of money is an example of this. So let's think this through. Have you noticed that, let's say you have a brain surgeon, which is a specialty in the medical field. In most cases, to see a brain surgeon, you're in the hospital and the brain surgeon walks down the hall, visits you, and then he walks to the next room and visits another person. Well, this is an example of optimizing what's called time value of money, which means that if that surgeon had to drive to your house and visit you as a patient and then drive back to the hospital for the next patient or drive to another house, the value of his training would be lost because you have to pay him by the hour. So all that get in the car, drive time to the new location, all that stuff is a complete waste of money when he could just walk next door and see the next patient. Why does this matter with Tesla? Well, guess what? If you have service people taking repairs at your location, particularly in a dense place like DC, you have to go through traffic lights, schedule that repair, and go into that building. So in a traditional repair facility, you'll notice that every other manufacturer has you drive your car in, and they'll give you a loaner or something. But basically what happens is their mechanics are able to work on a car, leave that car, and then work on the next car right next to it. Now, when you don't have this going, you have a huge problem. And the huge problem is that the price you have to charge, let's say I have a Tesla van that comes to your home to do a repair work on your vehicle. Well, guess what? I've got to charge you a fee for that repair that includes how much time it takes him to drive to your location. Then I've got to charge you for the repair work that was done and the time to do that. Then I have to charge you for the time it takes for him to leave your location and get to his next repair facility or get back to the base. Now, basically, coming to your house is really expensive, and most people, if they got the real bill, would be shocked and unwilling to pay it and willing to drive to the repair location, which is not what Tesla is doing. So on one hand, this is a brilliant play by Tesla because all the Tesla owners get terrific service. On the other hand, I believe that Tesla loses money on all of these repairs. Unless they can charge $1 or $2 grand for the guy to show up there, they're losing it. One friend of mine had some repair work done, and Toyota's Lexus facility made a mistake and showed him how they charge for the time of their repair people. And basically, he had a repair that took the guy 15 minutes to do, but he was charged a full hour of that repair guy's time, which I think was about 150 bucks an hour. So basically, Toyota, in theory, fixed, let's say, 4 cars with the same issue, with the same mechanic, but they were able to charge 150 bucks an hour times 4 for that repair. So what this turns into is that you have a profit center of the repair work that's being done for Toyota, and because Elon Musk and company, people aren't willing to pay for the cost of you driving to that location to do the repair, you now have the issue that your mechanics are all out spending a third to half their day in trafficy areas to get to that location. So now it can, you can work out the numbers, but instead of making a nice profit on repair work, Tesla is now in a position where they lose money or barely break even on all those repairs. And when we go through the things like cost accounting, you include the cost of the vehicle, insurance, liability insurance. There are all these additional costs that are hidden, that are unbelievable in the count. But I chose today to sort of dive into this because the big issue is, will Tesla make money and get to break even? And the answer to that is, if the answer is no, they won't be able to do that by June or July of this year, as Elon Musk has argued. It could cut the stock price in half. On the other hand, if he does it, it goes the other way, and it goes the other way dramatically. I also bring this up because the suggestion is, even if he gets to 5,000 cars a week, it still won't achieve a break-even position for the vehicles. Hence why Tesla is the most shorted stock right now, and every share that could be shorted has been shorted on Tesla, anticipating a huge drop in the value of the company. So I elected today to sort of dive into this whole time value of money piece because it introduces us to some of the issues that Tesla is having that reflect really good ideas that are meant well on both customer side, etc., but kind of don't work on the business side. So another sub-theme that I really think is going for Tesla is that Elon Musk doesn't have an MBA. He's a great engineer. And the trade-offs that you make between great customer moves and moves that are in the best interest of profitability and costs for the firm can actually be conflicting with each other. And you got to blend all those numbers to make things work. The one other highlight that I wanted to do on this is the whole dealer network issue. I believe there's a possibility Tesla goes bankrupt. And as soon as they go bankrupt, the first thing they're going to do is to build a dealer network. And the reason they need a dealer network is because it improves their cash flow. for all intensive purposes, Tesla is a 100% vertically integrated company. It's really 80, but it might as well be 100. And what that means is every dollar that comes in the door for Tesla, they have to reallocate within the firm. So there's a constant need for capital at every point of the company, because they don't have the luxury of having large number of suppliers. Like GM is 25% vertically integrated. They can get something from a supplier and agree to pay the supplier in 90 days and then sell it to you as a consumer today, and they get 90 days of cash to finance other activities. Tesla does not get this. So there's self-financing that's associated with floating dollars like that Tesla does not get access to. So I believe that if in fact things go badly for Tesla, we're going to see some reorg people come in, and the first thing they're going to do is create a dealer network, and that allows them to sell their cars to the dealers and sell those dealers parts and improve cash flow on that side. The other part of it will be to either spin off or sell key components of what they do, maybe even the Gigafactory, and that cash that flows and allows Tesla to operate way better, because they're able to manage their cash better, which they cannot right now. So the next issue I wanted to dive into is the issue of the Toyota plan and how Tesla competes with it. So as I shared at the beginning, the benchmark that everyone uses to figure out who does the best job in cars is Toyota's manufacturing process. And so why is this huge? Well, there's something, one of the many things that they do is called lean manufacturing. So Elon Musk came up with a really good idea, which totally made sense, of let's automate as much as possible, and that automation process will allow us to reduce the headcount, and those factories and robots can just move fast, fast, fast and blow cars out of the building. The problem is that, and I'll include some literature on this, is that GM actually tried this and it totally didn't work. And it turns out that Toyota only has 20% robots and the rest employees, and you know, their plan is killing Tesla in terms of the quality of production and production speed that's not associated with technology hiccups that slow down the ability to produce. The other issue with the robots is quality that they found, which is Tesla ends up with a whole bunch of repair work that they have to do that Toyota doesn't, because Toyota is focused on a quality operating line, whereas Tesla is a lot more focused on speed to get things done. So for those of you who are really into engineering and how business works and companies work, I really think you want to read about how Toyota runs their production lines, and you'll see that I think Tesla's going to have a lot of repair work to do, because they're too overemphasized on speed and automation and less so on quality production. And I think we've seen that to some extent. A last item I want to cover is part of Elon Musk's deal is he's starting to learn by doing some of the stuff that you can't do, even though it would be interesting. And the great example I give is a look at the difference between the door handle on the Model 3 and the new door handle and the old door handle on the Model S. I think all the Model S owners should ask for a retrofit to get rid of those door handles. And the reason is that that door handle that reaches out to you is really great, but the problem with the door handle is that it's the #1 thing that was repaired under warranty, and most people that are out of warranty are going to have to spend $3,000 a handle to get that thing replaced. Whereas if you just had a fixed door handle, you lose a little bit on aerodynamics, but you gain a whole bunch on the functionality and lack of repair costs on the back end. And this is also a challenge with Elon. Great engineers love great engineering. The problem is some of the great engineering, like those door handles, end up being a complete nightmare in terms of the repair work that's associated with it. So I covered a couple of incidences of how the system of Tesla right now kind of doesn't work. And my hope is that the employees will watch this and they'll get back up to recommend changes that reflect good fundamental strategy. If other auto companies, be it Mercedes or Ferrari, etc., can't afford to send a mechanic to your house, Tesla can't afford to do that either. It's just a matter of time before the cost of that collapses on itself. Now, I'm closing out here in a minute or two. I haven't seen any questions yet from you guys on things you'd like us to cover today. I'm in a place called Alexandria, Virginia. We're right next to kind of the tidal basin. We're actually next to the Potomac, and the water has gone out. But I'm going to take a slow view session as we close out this view for you guys to check it out, and feel free to check it out on the map, etc. You know, my concern is Elon Musk is serious about winning, and therefore he's sleeping on the couch, and I think this is good. But guess what? If you just did it the first time the way Toyota told you how to do it, you don't have to sleep on the couch, and you can just sleep in your own bed anywhere in the world, because they spent 50 years figuring this out, and they have a lot of smart people, and those guys know what they're doing. So I highly recommend you take time to read up on how Toyota operates, because it'll help you see it in advance where challenges might be in your vehicle and in the Tesla system, and it'll facilitate your ability to more easily interface with the company as you work with the products that are coming out, and you'll be able to anticipate where issues might be showing up. The final item I'd like to do today, and I like to do different things, is something I called Washington, D.C. trivia. And the trivia for today is, where does the word lobbyist come from? So the answer is that the White House burned down. The White House actually burned down, I think, at the end of the Civil War, as one of the number of burn downs it had. So Ulysses S. Grant moved the White House to a place called the Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C. Once he did that, the White House was the top floor of the hotel. So when people wanted to do business with the government, he simply said, "Meet me in the lobby." So that's where the term lobbyist comes from. And that's our trivia question for today. I wanted to note to you that I have a lot of respect for Toyota. Their cars are awesome, and every metric you can think of, they blow it away, hence why I use them as the counter. And I mention Mercedes and so forth occasionally as well, because, you know, those are great companies with a long tradition of great customer service. So I wanted to say hello to Bob Ware. You're right about the hydrogen cell. Enough respect, brethren from Sweden. Thank you for saying hello. Thanks to my friends in Spain for also saying hello. I'm going to close out and then give you guys my nature view at the end. And thanks for hanging in there with the noise from the Wilson Bridge here. German, tschüss. French, au revoir. Spanish, adios. Hebrew, lahitraot. Farsi, Hoda Hafez. And in Jamaican, Nuff respect, walk good man. Thanks for taking time out of your day to visit with us. Our next show will be on Tuesday, and then our usual Thursday schedule. Would love to get any questions you might have. Happy to respond. Wow, South Danish, Monge. Hey, thanks for the note, man. I happy to learn new language. It's always fun to learn more new things. So I'm going to take you out. Behind us is the Potomac, as you've seen over my shoulder, and Moyne. As you've seen over my shoulder, it's the Potomac, and looks like a dredging ship out there. I don't know if you can see it, to try to dredge the channel. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Thanks again for joining us. Could really use your help on Patreon to improve our equipment. Also, please at least watch a couple of, 10, 12 seconds of our ads. Would really help in supporting the channel. Have a great day, and I look forward to any and all comments, especially if they're respectful and are valid dialogue.